Ke ikana gore mo maemong a me jaaka moatlhodi wa kgotlatshekelo ya molaotheo.
An illustrious career that spans over 3 decades. Law was not the first career choice for Mokgoro. As a young woman, she toyed with the idea of being a nun, social worker, or an educator. The 69-year-old says she became a lawyer by default. She says the career choice was a dare from PAC founder and lawyer Robert Sobukwe. A brush with the law was the reason why Mokgoro took to the bench.
They took us to the police station and they charged me with obstructing the ends of justice. My family had secured the assistance of Robert Sobukwe. We had a conversation with him and I was lamenting about the paucity or the shortage of young men in Kimberley to study law. And he looked at me, he said, "Why do you say young men?" I said, "Akira, the legal profession seems to be a profession for men." "I don't know. There's nothing that stops women from becoming lawyers." "Are, let's start with you in Khalishiw, because there's no law that stops you from becoming a lawyer."
In 1994, Justice Mokgoro and Justice Kate O'Regan were the only 2 women judges of the 11 appointed at the Constitutional Court. Mokgoro says by then the country had just 3 female judges. She says the landscape is different now, but transformation is slow.
Things are much better now than they used to be, but nearly not good enough, as I always say. They are nearly not good enough. We could do more. We have, and this is international, this is worldwide. It actually even happens in international courts. You look at international courts, you know, the UN courts, for example, the men would be more than the women, unless those who appoint make a concerted effort. Yeah. So the advocacy shouldn't be just with the people who we want to see on the bench. We need to advocate among people who appoint. They are the ones who need those minds, whose mindset needs change. And that is what we are doing. We are writing in the journals that these people read. We talk to them, you know, we send delegations, we motivate women, we mobilize. Whenever there are adverts for appointments, we mobilize among really strong women who we know when they get there, they will do the job just right.
Young legal eagles say there are still many hurdles. Emma Mahlangu, who is a Wits graduate, says making it to the top requires blood, sweat and tears for black women.
One major sensitive issue is racial and gender stereotypes. The idea that women are less competent is still a reality for some women in the workspace. This is reinforced by the assumption that competence is determined by race and gender.
Justice Mokgoro currently chairs the United Nations International Justice Council, which appoints judges at the United Nations. Her time is split between board meetings, writing judgments for the Namibian Supreme Court and Lesotho Appeals Court. But she says the agenda of transformation remains a top priority. She has taken many women in the legal field under her wing.
I've never joined the bar, but I have a number of colleagues who we sit together in the South African Women Lawyers Association. We have an association internationally, and we fight and advocate for the inclusion of women in decision-making positions in the legal field at international level.
Justice Mokgoro says it's time to pass the baton to others. She says she uses her influence to recommend outstanding women to replace her in many portfolios.
I will have to stop sitting on the bench like I'm doing with the Namibia Supreme Court. I've cut down with the Lesotho Appeal Court. I chair a number of non-governmental organization boards. I chair the Solplaiki University Council. Still do that. And I mean, there are countless things that I do. And I think I would just really just ask people to just give me a chance, to just step back a little.
Mokgoro is a mother of 4 and has 6 grandchildren. She says despite retiring from the highest court in the land in 2019, her plate remains full. Justice Mokgoro says women need to keep pushing for their seat at the table and positions in the judiciary. Margaret Mutibi, SABC News, Kimberley.